Sit in a comfortable pose to start your asana or cross legs so that you can start grounding your hips and legs. Just imagine your tailbone for a moment and feel that the energy of the tailbone roots down into the earth. And it's not just like into the dirt, it's like down deep. So you just kind of keep doing that for a moment, going deeper, deeper, deeper into the earth with it's like the base of your spine just down, and then it anchors into the earth. And imagine that earth energy comes up into your spine. And so the legs are firm, you feel your feet on the floor, your buttock bones on whatever you're seated on, and that energy of the tailbone into the earth, and then rising back up into the spine. Bring your hands on your legs, palms down, open your collarbones, abdomen back, spine energy rising, connected down into the earth with the tailbone. Relax your face, bring your crown of your head right over your tailbone. Relax your jaw. Join the hands in prayer and keep the collarbones really broad, firming the shoulder blades to the back. Relax the breath, going inward. Begin with a single Om. Draw your head down, feel your breath. Bring your hands down, palms up, raise your head. Open up your eyes, and let's just change the cross of the legs if they're crossed. And then interlock your fingers in front. And extend your arms forward and up. Lower them and change that interlace. Again, forward and up. From your waist and your rib cage, lift, including your back ribs, and then reach out and down. And stretch the two legs out. Stretch your feet. Okay, so let's stand on up and move whatever you were seated on out of your way. And just train your legs for Tadasana. For a moment, just the waist down into the earth, the energy down through your feet into the earth, and then lift up through the spine, open up the collarbones. So just like we did in the seated position, push the thighs back, and then interlock, extend forward and up with the arms. Lift from the waist, including back ribs. Lower, change the interlock, forward and up. Breathing, keep grounding from your waist down into your feet, lifting back ribs, and then reach out. Take the arms behind and just gently lift them away from the back, and then change the interlock. Do that again. Then bend them and bring them towards your right waist, your hands towards your right waist, and then the other side. Separate them and release them at your sides for Tadasana. Good, right arm up, bend it, and just see if you could bring your hands and Gomukhasa in your arms, just lightly, like real easy. version of Gomukhasana and then change it. Easy version. Good, and then release them down. Stretch them out, turn the palms up, biceps back, and reach them up. This time, your hands apart, arms apart. Reach up. And then turn your thumbs forward, reach out and down. Good, okay, now downward facing dog. And if you need to go to a chair, of course, you use your chair. Take your knees a little bent, take your hips way up, your heels up. Breathing and extending the arms and rib cage up. Steady the breath. And then begin what is appropriate for your back, your legs, extending the legs. So it might be taking a bend and then straight, a bend and straight. It might be one leg straightening. You have to look inward at your back, your legs, and seeing what is appropriate for you. And when you need to rest, of course, you come into resting pose. So the first dog pose is looking good. I see a little bit of a tightness in the shoulders. So let's bend the knees and go way up with the hips and take the chest towards the legs. Just leave the knees bent and take the chest towards the legs. Think of your shoulder blades moving. It's better. It's better. Your shoulder blades moving more towards your chest. Take the hips higher. Opening the armpits, not overextending through the shoulder, but open through the armpits. Now rest. Go ahead into resting. It was better, so you kind of got some movement in there. But now resting, either child's pose or laying onto the back. And then, so take enough rest for you that is needed so that your shoulders feel good, your neck feels good, and then do another dog pose, but bring your hands slightly closer than your normal position. Just place them a little bit closer and see what happens. See how you feel in regards to your strength and flexibility and through the shoulders and rib cage. Take a little bend in your knees, go way up with your hips. So Jackie, it looks much better. Come on down. So I feel stronger with my hands slightly closer. If you're tighter in your shoulders, you go wider to increase flexibility and give you more space. But if you bring your hands a little closer, I feel like for me, it gives me more strength and more control. And so lately I've been doing it like that. So you just want to, observe in your body. Go ahead and do one with the hands just slightly wider, slightly turn out fingers, and just not a lot, it's just a little bit, and observe the difference, because maybe may short, go even wider with your hands, just a little wider. And and then just see. So this one allows for more movement, more flexibility, but I feel weaker in it. I can't hold it. I can't find the stability in it as much. So this would be good for someone that needs that extra space and through the shoulder joint. And then for someone who's working on stabilizing the shoulder, more narrow would be beneficial. So if you prefer the more narrow, you could step your hands back in. I see some of you doing that. Good, and then come on down and turn onto the back. And lay down. Have your knees bent, feet on ground. Bring your right knee into chest. Breathing. And then just stretch it up. We're not going to hold it, just stretch it up. And then bend it and bring it down. And then the other side into chest, left knee to chest, breathing. And then just stretch it up. Breathing and bring it down. And then the right one again into chest, bent. Soften your belly a little bit. Try to level through your hips. And then stretch it up. We're not going to hold it. Just take it up and then bend it. And then the left one into chest. Level the hips. Stretch it up. Breathe. And then bend it and bring it down. Now straighten them on the ground and push them down, the thighs down. If you can, arms overhead. And then lower your arms and bend your knees. Bring your feet close to the buttocks, lift your hips and walk your arms under you like just an easy mini Setu Bandha. Breathing. And lower your body. Lengthen and broaden the back. Draw your right knee back into chest. And this time left leg stretched out on ground. That's it. Yeah. Breathing. And if you can, now stretch the right leg up. You could flip your hands onto the back of the leg. Yep. Left leg, push it down. Good. Bend it in, and let's bend both legs in. Left leg into chest. Right leg on ground, stretch it out. And then if you can, left leg up. Breathing, straightening both if you can, pressing right leg down. And bend them in. Cross right ankle over left knee. Those that need to stay here, fine, and the others can pull the leg in. Try to keep your right shin fairly parallel to your chest. So I use my hands, I press my right knee away and bring my right foot forward. You can just do whatever feels, what works in your hips, your back, your hips. Make sure you're breathing. And then change it over second side. I'm not going to give a lot of instruction because you guys know this. You can just work in the range that's appropriate for your hips and back. Back over to first side. You like to pull the legs in a little bit and deepen that stretch and try to bring your shin parallel. And then second side. Breathing. And then straightening the legs against the ground, letting the knees open and clear. If it feels good, you can stretch your arms overhead. But just let the energy flow through your knees, nice and evenly, through the inner knees, the outer knees. Stretch through your feet. And then that little Setu Bandha, bending your knees, bringing your heels in close, lift the hips, tuck the arms under you. If it's easy to step onto your fingertips, then you could bring your heels up and slide the tips of your fingers under the heels. Lift the chest up a little bit away from the shins. Make sure you're breathing. And then lowering and let your back lengthen and broaden. roll over, and sit on it. All right, so hang on 1 second. Someone just came into the waiting room. They got bumped out. All right, so let's sit in Dandasana on a blanket, or what you like to sit for a little bit of twisting. So some of you like to sit higher. Some of you may even like to sit flat. I'm going to sit on a single blanket folded. And I like to use a block behind me. My arms are not very long, so it helps me. But whatever you need for we're going to do Mrityasana 1 and 3. So you guys know these. So let's sit up nice and tall, drawing the lower vertebrae in. And then bring your right leg up. Foot to floor, knee to ceiling. Get close to the leg, sit up tall. And we're going to turn to the straight leg side first for Mrityasana 1. So you're going to bring that left hand behind. Keep drawing the spine in and up. Open the collarbones. Good. This looks really good. So feeling the 2 buttock bones as evenly down into what you're seated on as possible. And then those of you that like to put the arm on the inside, if you feel ready for that through your neck and your shoulders, your ribs, then you could do that. And if it hurts at all, of course, you go back to the wrap. So the 2 buttock bones as even as possible into whatever you're seated on. Abdomen goes back, and you're breathing and gently seeing if you can revolve your rib cage around a little bit more as you're staying. And releasing, and we'll change the sides. Left leg in when you're ready, sitting tall. Get kind of close to your leg because you guys are all ready for this. And then reaching that right hand behind. Keeping the energy of the spine in and up, and gently beginning to turn towards straight leg side. Balancing as best you can the buttock bones into the blankets. Those that are ready to take the arm inside can. If that feels natural to do that, you can. If it starts to create tension in the neck and shoulder, just drop it back into the wrap instead. Rib cage gently revolving as you're staying, you're breathing, and trying to balance the buttock bones. And releasing. Now just leave your left leg bent, and then wrap the right arm around it. So at first, buttock bones balanced, and then start revolving for Mrityasana 3. So keeping as best you can the hips pretty even at first. Yeah. Bring the belly back and to the left. Do that again, belly back and left. And then as your ribs are starting to creep around a little bit more, maybe a few of you maybe are ready to take the elbow over. And if you're just not ready for that this morning, then don't. Make sure you're breathing. Last moment here, decide if you're comfortable bringing the head to turn over back shoulder. And then releasing. And let's stretch out that leg. So once the rib cage is around, then you can turn the head, but you don't have to. Every day it's a little different in the neck. So we're gonna bend now right knee, wrap left arm, sit tall, reach right hand behind, and go kind of slow and steady. Just balancing the base, the buttock bones down, pulling the belly back and right, belly back and right, belly back and right, and you're breathing. Good, and then if you feel like you're around enough and you can slip your elbow over, fine. You about your rib cage, gently revolving away from the straight leg now. Balancing the buttock bones, and then optional to turn that head at the end. Once the ribs are round, if it feels good to bring your chin around towards that right shoulder, the back shoulder, you can do that. If it's too much, of course, you don't. And then release and stretch the leg out. Let's just do them again. So Marichyasan 1, bring your right leg up and turn away from it. So you're warmed up now. So Marichyasan 1 with the right leg bent, turn to the straight leg side, open the chest, draw energy of the spine up, breathe. Turn your head if you like, over back shoulder. Good, and then leave your leg, come back center. Leave your leg, come back center. And then those that like the way this feels in the arm, just take the wrap. Come forward, bring your right arm in front around the shin. And we're not gonna hold it. You're just gonna like flow and then release. Okay, and then bend that other leg. Turn away from bent leg. Taking right hand behind, revolving towards straight leg side, Marichyasan 1, that's it. If you like to put your arm on the inside, if you're ready to turn the head over back shoulder, make sure you're breathing. And then leave the leg, come front center, and then if it feels okay, come forward and just wrap wherever the arms go. Include the back arm, yep, and then release. Good. Okay, let's leave the leg for Marichyasan 3, wrapping, turning towards bent leg side. Walking the belly around. So Mary, yeah, whichever leg you're doing, it's fine. Just do Marichyasan 3. So yeah. Walk the belly around. If you want to put the elbow around. If you want to turn your head over back shoulder. And then undo. We're not going to do the wrap on this one. It's so much harder than Marichyasan 1. So change now your legs and begin revolving towards that leg side. So just drawing belly back and around. Good. Good. Keep breathing. You guys are doing great. Just kind of on your own pacing, your own rhythm. If you're ready to turn the head, do. And then releasing. Good. And extend the legs. Now, can we sit in Virasana? So I like to sit on a block for Virasana, but so let's just sit whatever you need to be high enough to sit in Virasana. Turn your thighs out and try to balance the weight on the center of the shins and the centers of the feet. If you need to come out of it at any point, of course you do. Interlock, extend arms forward and up. Lower the arms, change the interlock, again, forward and up, lifting back ribs. Feel the shins. Turn thighs out, try to balance the central line of the shin to the floor. And then release arms out and down. That's really hard if you're seated low. I think that's why I like to sit on a block. It just gives me some control of the legs. Interlock behind and just gently lift the arms like we did in Tadasana. And change the interlock. Then the elbows, bring the right hands up, or the hands over to right waist. And then left waist. Good. Release hands down, palms to legs. Reach right arm up, bend it. Gomukhasana. Even if you're just lightly bringing your arms in the shape. Good. And change it. Now take the other side of your Gomukhasana. Yeah, there you go. And take your belly back a little bit because ribs and belly tend to go forward a little. Good. And then release the arms, palms down. Broaden the collarbones. Nice. Okay, so can you push your shins down and come up? Good. Bring your knees a little bit closer. Turn the thighs out and sit back down, turning your thighs out and pushing your shins down. Turn the thighs out and push the shins down. Pull your belly back and sit evenly. So yeah, better. There you go. Collarbones nice and broad. Good. Okay, now downward facing dog. You can move your blanket, move your block. Remember, if you like the hands a little more narrow for strength, you can place them in, and if you liked it wide for that opening through shoulders, that's fine. Just deciding what feels better today. Allow the knees to bend and heels to lift to get that openness through the armpit and shoulder, and then looks good, you guys. And then slowly straightening the thighs back. Good, it's looking better. Yeah. All right, we're gonna stay here for a moment. Steady the breath. Poses look good. Find your strength in it. Take your thighs back to hold the legs and to lengthen through the lower back. Breath smooth and steady. Now bend your legs, walk your feet forward towards your hands and just take them apart about as wide as your mat and bend the knees again. So the feet are wide and the knees are wide, and let the knees bend and see if you can bring your rib cage down towards your legs. So it's kind of this easy Uttanasana where the knees are bent. Yeah. Relax your head, your neck, feel your breath, and try to let your rib cage relax. And then place your fingers on the floor about a foot in front of your feet. Extend the arms and extend the spine. So half Uttanasana. Slowly extend the knees if you can. So you might not everyone will straighten the legs, but those that can straighten the legs. Pull your chest forward, half Uttanasana. Yeah. Lengthen the front body. From pubic plate to navel, lengthen. From navel to sternum, lengthen. And then rebend knees and allow your rib cage to come close to your thighs. If you like, you can bring your hands to hold the ankles. Press your heels down and take your buttock bones up as your head goes down. So you might not straighten the legs all the way. That's fine, I know. Take your heels down, buttock bones up, and head down. So you're bringing your rib cage closer to your legs. Make sure you're breathing. Back into the half Uttanasana, lengthening the spine, front body, pubis to navel long, navel to sternum long. Optional to extend the knees straight. And then possibly full Uttanasana with your legs straight. Now that, only if that works in your low back. And then downward dog, placing your hands in the narrow position if you like it for strength. Press the thighs back. Extend the back ribs, extend the front ribs. Hold the triceps in. Come down to ground and lay on back. If you need a strap for Supta Padangusthasana, grab it. If you can do pose holding the toe and it's like just slightly imperfect, that's fine. So either find your strap or take your toe, your right toe, and then stretch your legs. So your left leg to ground, right leg up. Those that are holding the strap, hold close to the foot as if you were holding your foot. And let's straighten both legs now. Because you guys are warmed up, we can go 2 legs straight. And then your right leg, take it to the right. Keep your hips firm. Don't let anything change. Just right leg right. And bring it back up. Outer right hip, take it towards your left foot. Take your leg right again. Keeping the hips exactly as they are. Just right leg right. And then bring it up. And then fix everything by taking your outer right hip towards left foot. And one more time, right leg right. Don't let the hips change. And then take it up. Now change your sides, grabbing left toe or changing the strap to left foot. Arm the right leg to the earth and take left leg left. And bring it up. Fix everything by taking your left hip towards right foot. You want to feel balanced across your pelvis, right to left, top to bottom, and then take your leg left again. And bring it up. Yeah, so as best you can, don't let anything change when you move your leg over to the side. So left hip towards right foot, and then when you're ready, take your left leg left without changing the pelvis. And then bring it up, go back to your first side. The leg that's on the floor, push it down. Put your left hand on your left thigh. And then curl your head and chest up and bring your right leg towards your head. Lower your head. Pin your right hip in and take your right leg right. Pin your right hip in. As you're taking your leg to the right, pull your right hip up to the bone. And then take it center. And then lift the head up again to shin. Lower the head. Pin the hip. And pin your right hip in, hold the right hip in as you take your leg to the right. Work with your hip, and then take your leg up. Now change your sides. Left leg up. Push your right leg to the earth. Right hand on right thigh. Curl head and shoulders up, leg into head. Breathe, lower the head. Now your left hip, push it into the bone. Pin it in as you take your leg to the left. And then bring the leg up. And then curl the head up again. Bring the shin closer to your head. Lower the head. And then pin the hip in as you're taking your leg over to the left. Work with the hip. And then bring your leg up. Now, just leave your leg up. We didn't do this on the other side, but just leave your leg, left leg up, and then switch your hand, holding with your right hand. Put your left hand on your left hip, outer thigh, and push it towards that right foot. And then take your leg across the midline just a little bit to stretch the IT band. So don't go too far with your left foot over to the right side. Yeah. Now, when I'm coming out of this, I like to bend my leg that's up. I like to release it by bending the knee and then bringing it back into kind of, center, and then lower it down, stretching that left leg to the ground. Take your right leg up when you're ready. We're going to do that on the other side. So you're going to hold with your left hand to right foot or a strap. Right hand on the outside of your right leg, near the hip, near the thigh. Turn the outer hip towards the left foot, just to balance the pelvis. And then take it across the midline, but not a whole lot because you're trying to find that IT band stretch. Yeah, just go slow, because if you go slow and then you pause, then you'll start to feel it potentially all the way down into the outer calf. Make sure you're breathing. And then bending the leg that's up and coming back to center. Now, Setu Bandha, bringing your knees bent, heels near buttocks. Lift your hips. If you can easily step onto the tips of your fingers, do. Roll your arms under you. Take your chest away from your shins. Breathing. Lowering. Broaden and lengthen the back. And now Supta Baddha Konasana, no props. If you can't do that, of course, you can use something under your legs if you need it. Stretch the arms overhead if it feels good. Push the heels in, widen the knees if it feels good. And then lower your arms, carefully roll over and come on up. Okay, let's do one seated thing before we stand up. So we're gonna do fire log, and you might need to sit on a blanket. You might be able to sit flat. So if you're pretty flexible, you could sit flat in your hips. And you also might need another blanket at the ready, so you can have one by you. I'm gonna sit up today on a blanket, and then flex your feet, bend your knees, bring your right foot underneath your left knee, and then your left foot, see if you can bring it on top of the knee. And then if there's space here, that's where you might need to put a blanket. Flex your feet. Lean forward a little bit if you can. Good. And then your top leg, hug it in and straighten them both. And then we'll do the other side. So I flex, bend knees, and now it's that left foot. I'm going to walk it underneath the other leg. Right foot across, lift it. Keep your feet really flexed. And then setting foot over knee. And then if there's space, prop it up. Lean forward a little bit if you can. Try to really flex your feet. Don't let your ankles collapse. Make this more of a working position through the ankle. And then hug the knee in and straighten them both. And then do it again. So flex here. So you're just on your heels. Keep your ankles really balanced. Don't let your ankles collapse when you do it. So you're going to put the right one under. Keep flexing that left as you pick it up. And so there your knee might be up. And then if it, keep the ankle really even and prop up the knee if you need to. Don't let your ankle collapse. Yeah. And then hug it in. Straighten them. Flex the feet, bend the knees. And then it's the right one that goes, oh no, I'm sorry, I did it wrong. It's the left one that goes under and the right on the top. Keep flex through your ankle though, through your foot. Don't let that ankle sink in. Yeah, like that. Keep it super flexed. Yeah. So you feel the shin bone different, the inner length of the shin bone differently, right? When you don't collapse through that ankle. Okay, then undo it, hug it in and straighten them. All right, okay, stand on up. We're gonna do a little bit of standing work. So if you wanna block near you. You can have a block near you. I'm going to move my screen a little bit. And then stand in Tadasana. Thighs back, collarbones broad. Take energy from your waist down through your feet to the earth. And then from your back ribs, lift up off your waist. Good. And then walk or step out wide. Stretch the arms. Balance the 2 feet parallel to each other, thighs back again. And that sense of from the waist down to earth and back ribs up. Right leg, turn it out from the hip socket. And then Trikonasana, so you could bring your hand onto your shin or a block. But don't go too low. Open up the collarbones. Good. And then come on up. Now keep your stance. Keep your stance, because everyone feels good enough here, right? You feel strong, you feel fine, right? Bend your right leg. Push your right heel down. Lift your right toes up and bend your right leg. And then re-straighten that leg. And now bring your hands down, turn your feet forward. If you're using a block, go ahead and change it over to the other side. Extend the arms. Left leg at the hip joint, turn it out. From your waist, go to the earth with energy and lift your back ribs. And then go to Trikonasana on the left. Don't go too deep. Don't go too low with the bottom hand. Yeah. And then come on up, keep your legs very straight, come on up, and then just be here, leveling through the rib cage and the hips. Yeah, and then bend your left leg, but really push your heel down on your front foot. I lift my toes and the ball of my foot off of the floor. This side, you're a little stronger, and then straighten that leg. Really straighten it, lift out of the waist, and then bring your hands down and your foot in, and then walk on in. Just move your block over. I want to just do that again. So when you're ready, step out wide. Stretch the arms, turn the right leg out from the hip socket. Extend over the right side, Trikonasana, but not too low because I want you to be strong. Strong through your arms, strong through your legs. Yeah. Pull your hamstrings to the bone. Pull your quads to the bone. And then stand. And level your hips and armpits. Good. And then bend your right leg, but don't lean to the right. Stamp your right heel down. Release your right buttock bone towards your right knee. Beautiful, you guys. You're getting it. And now re-straighten and really straighten. So straighten the knee and then stand up really tall. Good. And now you can change it. Bringing your feet forward. If you need to move your block, carefully move it. If you're like me and you only have one block. And then turn when you're ready. Turn your left leg out at the hip. Tighten the hamstrings. Pull them up to the bone. Quads down to the bone, hamstrings up. And then go over that leg straight, straight, straight with your arms and legs. And not too low. So you can feel the strength. Good. And then rising up. And then level hips and shoulders. So Mary Wilson, you're a little over this way. Draw your right ribs. Don't go over this way. There you go. Now bend your left leg. Stamp the heel. Keep your rib cage over your hips. Don't lean over the bent leg. Better, everyone. Better. Left heel, hard down. Left buttock bone towards left knee. This is what releases. Inner groin and buttock bone to knee. And then straighten, and really straighten and lift up. Then change it, or lower your arms, bring your feet in, and go ahead and walk in, Tadasana. You guys did great. You totally got it. So be content. Be in Tadasana and be content. Good. Okay. So walk to the front of your mat. The narrow end of your mat. Bring your hands onto your waist. Take a big step back with your left foot, leaving the right foot in the front. Lift your belly back and up, and your left ribs, turn them to face forward towards the right foot. Good. Keep pulling your belly back and up, and then bend your right leg, your front leg. Take your tailbone forward. Left ribs forward. And then straighten the front leg. Carefully walk your back foot in. And then when you're ready, big step back with your right. Now it's your right ribs that come forward towards left foot, tailbone in, pull your belly back and up, and then bend your front leg, but tailbone in, tailbone in. Back ribs, bring them around. So I'm not saying your hip, your back hip, I'm saying your ribs. Yeah. And then straighten the front leg and step back in. Step forward. Okay, and then when you're ready, left foot back. Big step back. Back ribs forward, tailbone in, arms up, hook a thumb, and bend your front leg. Lift your back ribs up. Make sure you're breathing. And then straightening your front leg, lower your arms, big step forward. When you're ready, right foot, step it back. Big step back. Right ribs come around towards the front leg. Reach the arms up, hook the other thumb. Tailbone leading, bend your front leg. Take your tailbone towards your left knee. And then straightening your front leg. Walk your back leg in, facing forward. And on the long ways of your mat, there you go, come into Tadasana. Now we're gonna do Parsvakonasana, so if you want your block, have it on the right side. Pause for a moment in Tadasana just to gather yourself. Good. And then walk or jump out wide. Extend the arms. Right leg at the hip joint, turn it out. Right foot turns out, bend right leg. Ground through your left leg from the hip to the foot. Belly is back. Right hand down to the block. Left arm up. The upper hand, upper arm, turn it so the palm faces towards the right and extend that arm over the ear. Chest rolls towards ceiling. If your neck allows for it, your face rolls up so that your eyes gaze at the bicep of the upper arm. Right heel, push it down. Left leg to earth. Pull the belly back and then carefully rise and straighten your front leg. Good. And then let's bring the hands down, turn the leg in, and change the block over if you're using your block. Extending arms. Left leg at the hip joint, turn it out. Left foot turns out. Right leg to earth. Then left leg. Belly is back. Left hand to block, stretch the right arm. Rotate the upper arm and extend it over the head. Belly is back. Right leg to earth. Roll the chest up, and if the neck allows for it, the eyes and the head gaze at the bicep of the upper arm. Stretch your upper arm straight. There you go. Left heel, stamp it down, right leg to earth. Carefully rise and then straighten the bent leg and lift up. Good, and then turn foot in, hands can come down, walk yourself on in. We're gonna take Uttanasana. So you might be in a half Uttanasana or full, depends on your low back. I'm gonna do half. I'm gonna go with bent knees and concave spine. Some of you might be in a straight leg Uttanasana. It's your back. You guys know this pose, so. Use the pose to steady your breath. If the legs are straight, balance the fronts and the backs of the thighs. And then downward facing dog. And child's pose. Take a resting version of child's pose. And then we're gonna lay on the belly, and so some of you might need to put a little padding under your belly. It just depends, you know, on the floor that you're working on and how sensitive you are across the pelvis and the belly. So then first just lengthening out the legs and the back, getting long. And then when you're ready, catching the right foot with the right hand. And then your head and shoulders, you're just gonna work on your own for what feels good for you. So take your tailbone down. Bring your foot in as close as you comfortably can. So the first one, you know, might not be too close, but keeping your tailbone down, looking for length through both sides of your sacrum. And then change it over, second side. That's it, tailbone down like that. That looks really good. And then go ahead and go back to your first side. Now, the second time you do this, if you can, bring the foot more like Bakasana on the outside. So your knee doesn't go over to the side too much, but your foot goes outside of the hip and then down if you can. Tailbone down still. Good job, everyone. Releasing, and when you're ready, second side. If that's not appropriate in your knee, then of course, you know, you can just do it the first way. But if it's available to you, your knee, kind of keep it in and take your foot out and then down if you can. Tailbone down though. And then releasing. Now, just stretch your legs back. Lengthen your belly and your back, and really stretch your legs back. And let's just try this one again. Right side. If you can bring the foot on the outside and down like Bakasana do, tailbone down. Tailbone down. And release. And then left side. Tailbone down though. Like that. Good job. And release. Now child's pose. Lengthening low back. And then come on up. Now, blanket, if you're using it, we're going to be on the knees. So I like to put the blanket this size, like that, under my back knee. You could certainly have 2 blankets there if you need it to be more of a pad. So then when you're ready, bring your knees onto your blanket, and if you can, your right leg forward into this kind of easy lunge. Your back foot can be either turned under or like a point, whichever feels the most stable for you is fine. Now, as we're going, if it's too hard, you might need to use blocks, but you can always just grab your blocks if you need them. Bring your hands onto the floor on the inside of your front foot. So both hands on the ground inside of the foot, if you can. And then just see if you can start bending your arms a little bit. Yeah. Good. Keep breathing. And then stop bending your arms and lengthen your spine. Yeah, good. Okay, now your front foot, just creep it forward a little bit and then see if you can bring your hips back. Yeah, your front foot, the toes can come up off of the floor. So you just are on your heel. Yeah, like that. And then rebend your front leg. And don't take your hips forward like you kind of want to. Yeah, like then just bend your arms again. Just see if you can bend your arms again. There you go. And then come up and bring your right leg back. And then it's optional to sit up on your knees or leave your hands down, whichever feels comfortable for your back. And then when you're ready, bring your left leg forward. So I think you can see better when I have my leg this side bent. So hopefully it'll be a little easier to tell what I'm doing. And then first, just bring your hands down on the inside of the foot. And then just bend your arms a little bit. You might not move very much. That's okay. And then straighten your arms and stretch your spine a little. Walk your front foot slightly forward, maybe an inch or 2. And then just see if you can lean your hips back and your front leg will straighten a little bit, but let the ball of your foot come up. Good, and then rebend it. Don't let your hips go forward a lot, but just there. Yeah, and now bend your arms again. See, some of you might even be able to put your forearms on the floor. And then re-straighten your arms and either come all the way up to bring your leg back, or, you know, if you like to leave your hands down, you can do that. We're just going to do it again. So when you're ready, right leg forward. Hands down inside. Lower arms down. And then stretch the arms. Walk your front leg forward. Extend your hips back. Front leg stretching. Good. Rebend and see if you can rebend your leg and see if you can bring your arms down. There you go. And then release it, and we're going to change the sides. Good job, you guys. Left leg forward when you're ready. Hands down. Inside of the foot, that's it. And a little bend of your arms, just bringing your rib cage down towards your inner thigh. And then stretch your arms, walk your foot forward just a little bit and take your hips back, front leg stretches. Rebend your front leg and lower your forearms down if you can. Breathing. Good job, everyone. Undo the arms and bring that leg back. Just do a child's pose. Relax your back waist, your hips, your low back. Good. And then open up this blanket again and lay onto your back. And we're going to do a similar movement, but recline. Have your feet bent, legs bent, feet on floor. And then bring your right leg up, bend it. Reach up with your right hand and see if you can draw that, it's like half happy baby. So you're gonna see if you can draw that right knee down towards the right armpit, right inner thigh near the right ribs. Yeah. You can use either just your right hand or both hands. Sometimes I like to hold on to my shin and my ankle with two hands, or even my foot with two hands, and see if I can really bring that right leg, inner thigh, near the ribs. Yeah, just like you're doing. Everyone's doing great. Good. Release it, and we'll do the other side. Actually, stretch your leg out against the ground for a moment, and then do your other side. And maybe go a little slow with bringing it in, you know, as the thigh is coming down, as the knee is coming down, just gradual with that. Make sure you're breathing. Don't worry if there's a little imbalance across your hips. Don't worry. Just see if you can let your left leg start to come in deeper. Make sure you're breathing. And then release it and let that left leg stretch out all the way. Actually, both legs, just stretch them out on the ground. See if you can bring your legs down, but relax your waist. So your legs, let them be the worker, and allow your belly and your back and your waist to relax. And then rolling over, bend knees, roll over. Everyone has a block, right? We're gonna lay over the block with the first position at your upper middle back, and you may need a blanket underneath your head. So we're gonna sit in cross legs, and I'm just gonna do it. So I'm gonna sit in cross legs with the block at the upper middle back, and take the arms out and the head back. Now you might need a blanket underneath your head. So first it's cross legs, laying over the block with the block at the upper middle back, using whatever you need underneath your head so that your neck is comfortable. So we've done a lot to open up through the hips and low back, and now we're just gonna open up the upper back a little bit. You could leave your arms out at the sides. You could stretch your arms overhead. If you're crossed, maybe change the cross of your legs. Make sure you're breathing. And then lower your arms and either roll over or sit up. Okay, so we're gonna go a tiny bit fast through this. You can always be in simple cross legs instead of Virasana if that's better for you. If you can easily take Virasana, then turn your block up and take Paryankasana over the block on the narrow height. Now, if you can't do Virasana comfortably, do it in cross legs. And of course, you may need something underneath your head. Those that can easily take Virasana with the block on the narrow edge under the middle back, Paryankasana. Use whatever you need underneath your head to be comfortable through the neck. This can be done in simple cross legs. Make sure you're breathing. If you're cross, just change your cross. If you're in Virasana, you can vary your arm position overhead. And then when you're ready to come up, use your hands and elbows at your side, lift your chest, come up, undo your legs if you're in Virasana. And then cross legs, people, just straighten them. Good, okay. So I started the class saying I wanted to see if I could get you into this pose that I really like for my back, but I didn't know if anyone else is gonna like it. So I'm gonna show it to you. And then you're gonna either try it or you know, maybe make a modification, which I can show you as well. So I'm gonna do it the way I do it. And I don't know if you're gonna like it. So I'm gonna start in a Setu Bandha. I'm gonna lift my hips and put the block under my sacrum on the low side. I get my arms tucked under me. And I'm hoping you guys can see with the way the lighting is in here. But so I have the block on the low side under my sacrum, and I have my arms tucked under so my chest is open. And then the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my right leg into Virasana. Now that's what I don't know if other people can do just like that. But then I'm going to do both sides, and then I'm going to go onto the higher side of the block, and I'm going to do it again. Okay, so let's just see at first how this is for you guys. Okay, so first lay down, lift your hips, and put the block under your sacrum for a Setu Bandha like we always do. So then part of the flat side, yeah. Part of the trick of this is getting your chest elevated. So yeah, you do want to get your chest really open first. You want to really walk your arms under you. Good. And then maybe just toy with bringing your right foot under, or whichever foot, it doesn't matter. Yeah, into like a Supta Virasana. And then you could just undo it if that's too much. And try your other side. Try both sides, one at a time. Try each side, one at a time. That looks great, May, yeah. And then undo it. Okay. So then try going on the middle height of the block because it might make it even easier for some of you. You have to get your chest open again though. Get your chest open first, yeah. And then try your right side. Now, your quadricep is gonna take a much deeper stretch, but it might be easier to manipulate your leg into the position. Yeah, good. Make sure you're breathing. And then undo it and try your other side. Good, undo it. And then lower the block to the first height. Relax. Relax. And then take the block away. And then lengthen your back, back and belly broad and long. And then roll over and sit up. It's like this, huh? It's hard, huh? So you kind of like it and you kind of don't, right? So is it okay on the knees though? Knees were okay, right? It's a big stretch in your quads and in through the back too, right? For some of you. Okay, so of course, if it's in your back, you don't want to overdo, right? You guys okay? All right, so I like it because it sets my sacrum in place. But I know that it might be a little too much for some of you. So I'm going to show you a slightly different version of it. So I've got my bolster there and I'm going to sit on it a little bit. So when I'm doing my Supta Virasana, I'm changing it a little bit by bringing my sacrum slightly up onto the bolster. And then I'm going to see if I can get my foot in like that. Okay, so let's try it like this. It might be way easier. And then May, if it's hurting your back at all, then I don't want you to do it. So lay like I did. So you kind of sit on the bolster a little bit. Just have your feet on the floor. Don't go to Supta Virasana yet. Just have your feet on the floor. Put your sacrum a little bit on your bolster and lay down. Now, if your head is hanging off the back of it, then maybe you need another blanket there for your head because some of you are taller. Just make your neck comfortable. Yeah, and then see if you can bring your right foot, grab it with your hand, and see if you can bring it into Virasana. Just your right one. And then can you see? Yeah, so this one you like better, right? Okay. And then undo it and try your other one. So you can see how you can bring your sacrum slightly elevated and you can create a deeper stretch in through the quad and hip flexor by elevating the sacrum slightly onto your bolster or potentially onto your block one day. Yeah, good. Okay, now undo it. Now let's just straighten the knees out on the ground. Good. Okay. Roll over and sit on it. Okay. So did you guys like that one better? Yeah. Okay. So you could see how eventually you could work towards the one with the block, right? Okay. So Viparita Karate on the block. I'm just going to do it. You might need to put something underneath your shoulders. If you need to, you can have blankets under your. Let me do that so you can see. Blanket headstand size. This could be no blankets. This could be 2 blankets, depending on what you need. I'm going to lay down, really lift the hips. Take block on high side under sacrum. Step the legs up and go to Viparita Karani. So head and shoulders are on the blankets if you're using it. Now I'm going to watch you guys. So Viparita Karani with the block. Lift way up. Place the block under the sacrum. Lift your chest like crazy. Lift your chest, 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 chest. And then 2 knees, bend them and extend the legs up. Lift the chest up. You could always be at the wall if you need to be at the wall instead. You know, if you're better off using the bolster at the wall, of course you could do that. Lift your chest. Lift your chest. Keep lifting your chest up. There you go. Poses look beautiful, you guys. Now, it should essentially be restful. Find the place where your legs are straight over your sacrum, over that block, so that you can actually relax a little bit. Soften the throat, soften the jaw. If you need to come down, of course, bend your knees and step your feet down. But see if you can play with it, where you can find the place where you can actually rest here, where the legs are just right up over the block and the chest is open and the throat is soft. Good, and then bending the knees, carefully stepping down. You could lower your block and steps if you like to do that. If you want to go to the medium side, if you like to just take the block out and lower your back, that is okay. So you can decide. Lowering the block either step by step or all the way, and then eventually bringing your back to the ground. And then Shavasana or a restorative pose of your choice. So if you feel like you need to do Supta Baddha Konasana or Setu Bandha proper, you could, or you can go to Shavasana. So if you feel like your body is ready for Shavasana, just lay down. If you know that you need to do Supta Baddha Konasana or something like that, of course you can. So a restorative pose of your choice or Shavasana. Whichever one you're in, allow your body to come into a state of evenness. Right to left through the pelvis, legs, ribs, head, shoulders. Just finding a state of balance, right to left. And then deeply letting go towards the earth, towards the bolster. Allowing the arms and legs to soften and rest in the position that they're in. Allowing them to fall. Relax the eyes and the jaw. Your legs are bent, just let them slide out and rest in a Shavasana for a few moments here. Just really relax the legs. Deeply rest, allowing them to let go. Feel the breath soft, smooth, and continuous, like water flowing in a quiet river. Now, on account of the fact that you're at home, if you want to stay in your Shavasana, you can just stay. Those that are ready to come up can slowly, gradually, bring the hands on the chest, wiggle the toes. When you're ready, lay on that side. Just take your time. If you're coming up gradually, coming to a comfortable seated position. Namaste. Thank you for being here. I hope you feel good today. Hope you have a really peaceful day where you feel grounded.